All right, guys. Good morning. Today is going to be Wednesday, and we're going to go over 10-8, and we're actually going to do something different with this lesson. We're splitting it up into two, but we're actually going to start with the second part because we're going to talk about what we call transformations of polygons, in this case, on these coordinate planes. And so if you have graph paper, this is going to be a good time to use that for your homework, and then you could send that in. You don't have to have graph paper. It's not absolutely necessary, but it will help with graphing. It looks a lot neater. It's a lot easier to do, but I'm not going to do it with graph paper, so you'll see it gets a little bit difficult, but not impossible. So if you have graph paper, great. If not, that's okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at the first type of transformation, which we call translation. So that's going from one spot to another, kind of like translating languages. You go from one language to another. It's the same meaning, same statement, sentence, feeling, but it gets translated from one thing to another. So we're going to see here how we can translate figures. And we're going to start off with a triangle. And again, you can get very complicated. These geometry does get a little bit more complex, but it's the same idea. So a translation, because you're going to have to know the differences between these, is what we call a sliding of the figure. So it's a sliding of the triangle. So if the triangle is right here, it gets slided, to the right or to the left or up or down, or a combination of those. So let's go ahead and draw a coordinate plane. And this one you can go 5 by 5. So we're going to go 5 in each direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and the neater your spaces are, the better it's going to be in a graph. But here's where I want you to put your vertices. So we're going to say this is going to be called triangle ABC. So that's the triangle we're going to be dealing with. And we're going to have an original location of triangle ABC, and then we're going to translate it. So the original location for A, it's going to be, and make sure I write the one, -2, 1. So -2, 1 right here. That's going to be A. And I'll put -2, 1. So that's A vertex right there. And then you got B is 1, 0. 1, 0 right here. So we're going to put that as B, 1, 0. And then our C point is going to be -2, -2. So -2, -2, right about here. And that's our C. Now notice I labeled the vertices A, B, C. That's my triangle, because if I connect them together, I get a triangle. Okay, so that's the original location. But we're going to slide or translate that triangle ABC by moving it to the right 4 units. So we're going to translate this ABC to the right 4 units. All right? So the way that goes is I'm going to move A, B, and C all to the right 4 units. I'll just start with A, and I'm actually going to use a different color to show you the difference here. So A is going to move to the right 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to go right here. And instead of just calling it A or using a different colored marker, you actually use what we call A prime. That little tick mark right there, that's called A prime. And the new coordinates is 2 negative, I think it's 2 positive 1. That's a new set of coordinates for A. All right, let's move B 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. That goes right there. And that's not just B, it's B prime. And so you have to label it with prime because that's showing you the new movement. And it becomes 5, 0 because it, right here at this point is 5, 0. And then C gets moved 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's kind of right here. I know it's going to look weird, but C prime. And that's going to be, C prime is 2, -2. 2, -2. So that's C prime. And if I connect those points, do I get the original shape? And of course it's going to look better on a graph paper, but if I did it right, do you see that triangle ABC is the exact same shape and size as triangle A prime, B prime, C prime? That's what you're going for. So when you translate this ABC, this is what it's going to look like right here. You slid it, or you were sliding that figure to the right 4 times. Now notice the new coordinates, okay? And you're going to have to be able to sketch out these coordinates, but eventually you're going to have to come up with what we call a rule. Now look at the A and the A prime, for example, because we're going to come up with a rule that shows us we can come up with new coordinates without even having to graph them, kind of like what we did yesterday. So here, look at A to A prime. Do you notice that the y coordinate did not change, right? The y coordinate didn't change. What happened from the original x coordinate to the new x coordinate? You added 4 to that x coordinate, right? That's interesting, right? Okay, let's look at B. From B to B prime, I went from 1, 0 to 5, 0. What happened to that x coordinate again? You added 4, okay? Let's look at C to C prime. C to C prime right here. I went from -2, -2 to 2, -2. The y coordinates are the same, but look at that x coordinate. I went from -2 to +2, again adding 4. So here's the rule, and here's how you're going to write the rule if they ask you for that. Okay, you originally started with an x comma y, okay? You just started with your normal coordinates for the A, B, and C. But you translated that, you transformed that into, what you did is you added 4 to the x and you did not change the y. You see that little rule right there? I added 4 to the x value and then I kept y alone. So that's what we call the rule for the transformation. Okay, let's do another one here to kind of get our understanding of how to translate and then how to write the rule for that. Okay, so on this one, we're going to use triangle JKL. So triangle JKL. And this time, we're going to translate it to the left 2 units, and then up 6 units. Up 6 units. Okay, so it's not only going to go to the left 2 units, but it's also going to go up 6 units. On this one, let's go up, again, 5 in each direction. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you can see it hopefully clearer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so J, vertex J is going to go at 1, -1. 1, -1, that's J. And we're going to label it 1, -1. Then we're going to put K is 4, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, -2. So that's K, and that's 4, -2. And then we're also going to get L, which is at 3, -4. 1, 2, 3, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's L. Okay, and that's 3, -4. And we're going to connect those together. All right, so that's our triangle. That's the original triangle. That's triangle JKL. That's the original. How do I know for sure it's the original? It doesn't have, the vertices don't have any tick marks. They don't have any of those prime marks. So now we're going to translate it according to the rule, and then we're going to show how according to the directions here, and then we're going to come up with the rule. See if we can come up with that. All right, so I'm going to start with J, and I'm going to move it to the left twice. 1, 2, and then up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll label that J prime. And the coordinates there are -1, 5. -1, 5. -1, and then up 5. That's J prime. Okay, K gets moved twice. 1, 2, and then it goes up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here. And that's K prime. And K prime is at 2, 4. 2, 4. Okay, and then we get L. It moves to the left twice, so 1, 2, and then up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's L prime, and that's going to be now at 1, 2. All right, and then I'm going to connect the vertices and see if I get the same shape. Looks about the same, right? Not perfect because I don't have my graph paper, but notice this shape was translated to the left and then up. So left 2, up 6. Now, let's see if it follows the rule that we're going to come up with. So the rule here is x comma y, right? That's the original. You started with just x and y values. So how can I use a rule to tell me where the new coordinates would go? Let's just look at j and j prime. Okay, what did I do to the x value to go from j to j prime? What did I do to the x value? I went to the left, here we go, to the left 2 times. So when you go left on the x-axis, that's saying x minus 2, right? I'm subtracting 2 from this coordinate. Does that work for k and k prime? What's 4 minus 2? Oh, that gave me my k prime. What's 3 minus 2? That gave me my L prime. Okay, so that rule works so far. How would you describe the y translation? Look at the y coordinate. How did I go from j to j prime? So how did I go from -1 to 5? I went up 6, right? So up 6 would be plus 6. But does that really describe each one? Let's look at k to k prime. What's -2 plus 6? That gets me my positive 4. What's the -4 plus 6? That gets me positive 2. So this right here is the rule, and this right here is the showing of the translation, the sliding of that figure. So you're going to have to not only draw the figures, the translation, don't forget prime, prime, and prime, but you're also going to have to give me the rule at times, which is coming up right here, and you can go ahead and use that. All right, I think I have time for one last problem. This one is actually going to give you just the rule, and you have to come up with a new figure. So let's see if we can come up with this one. This will be our last example. So here I say it is a rectangle, and I'm going to use this rule. So here's my rule. X comma y is going to translate to x plus 1, y plus 4. X plus 1, y plus 4. Okay, so that's going to be the translation. So if you're like x deals with the horizontal axis, you're going to go to the right once. I think that's right for you guys. Wait, to the right once, yep. And then I'm going to go up 4. So let's look at the original coordinates, and they'll give them to you. I'm actually just going to give the coordinates here. So they give me r is going to be -1, 4. E is 1, 4. Oop. E is 1, 4. Then they give me C is 1, 1. And T, well, look, rect. So rectangle, -1, 1. Okay, so that's what they gave me here. They're going to ask you to graph it, but since, because of time's sake, I'm just going to get you those new coordinates. So if r is at -1, 4, where would r prime go? Where would r prime go according to our rule? So what do I do with the -1? So what do I do with the x value? I add 1. So what's -1 plus 1? 0. What do I do with the 4? I add 4. So I get 8. So that's going to be my new r value. It's my r prime. So I can graph this, no problem. It's a rectangle. But this is where the translation goes. Okay, and I would recommend doing this because then you can know how big your graph should be, or how wide it should be, or how tall, or where you should position it. Okay, let's see if we can get E prime. So where does E prime go? So if I add 1 to 1, that gets me 2. And if I add 4 to Y, that gets me 8. So that's going to be my E value. Look at my C value to C prime. So what's 1 to 1? 1 plus 1? That's going to give me my 2. And then what's 1 plus the 4? That's going to give me my 5. That's my C value, my C prime value. And then here, I'm going to go to T prime. So I add 1 to negative 1. That's going to get me 0 again. And I add 4 to 1. That's going to get me my 5. And that's going to get me my T prime. I could put those on a coordinate plane. And then I get my new vertices. And I can graph the original and the translation. So that's what you're doing on this lesson. I hope it's not too complicated. Your homework is going to be, okay, on one set of homework problems, they're going to give you the prime values and the rule, and they're going to say, all right, if you have the prime values, how do you use the rule to get to the original? Well, let's look at it here. If this is the new, like the prime values, what do I have to do with the 0? I have to subtract 1 because I got to go like backwards. So a couple problems that make you go backwards. Please look at the example. There are really 4 problems you have to do because 2 of the problems are done for you. So they'll show you how to work those out if you have any questions on those. And you can ask me as well if you're confused. But tonight's homework is going to be 4 through 9 all. So numbers 4 through 9 all. And that's going to be found on page 316. Page 316. So please make sure that you're aware. Sometimes they give you the original and sometimes they give you the prime. And so you kind of have to go back and forth from those. Okay, guys? Hope you do well on that. And I hope if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help. All right, guys, you take care.